Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Trucking Tower podcast. I'm very excited to be joined today by Ryan Lynch, who is the Senior Vice President of Marketing at OnPoint Group. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm great. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. All those carriers out there, thanks for keeping America moving this last couple of crazy years.
Absolutely. I don't know what in the world we would do without them. Everything around us is brought on a truck at some point. So I'm right with you on that. You know, you and I are going to be talking about key trends in warehousing today.
Right.
And I was excited to have you on with me. We're going to be talking about, of course, trends and keys to success. So people are going to want to stay tuned for that. Just to kick things off, I'd like to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Zero Down Supply Chain Solutions. If you'd like to reduce the money you spend on LTL parcel and mail shipments, please click the link below. So regarding our discussion today, Ryan, who are you surrounded with and what inspired you to do what you do today?
Yeah, so I was an entrepreneur doing what's called impact businesses, but right, we were venture capital backed, purpose-driven businesses overseas and also in the US around microinsurance and healthcare. And I was talking to one of my heroes, my dad, and he was doing something very different. He was doing clean technology. And he knew this company, which is now a part of OnPoint, a company called Concentric, prior to that. And they had figured out something. Large facilities that are running lots of forklifts, it's a super messy business, and it's even worse for the forklift power. And they had created a program called Guaranteed Power, where they just put some math, science, engineering, and data together, and they clean it up for everybody. They make it safer for their people. They make it more environmentally sustainable, and they actually were able to make a huge impact on bottom line for customers. I just got excited about it, and about a year later, I joined. They were just in the Southeast. We joined OnPoint, and we've been scaling ever since. And now I'm a part of the OnPoint team and family of companies, and we're doing similar things in the other businesses.
Awesome. You know, I've been lucky to work in technology within the trucking industry for about 20 years, and I've been involved in some investing here and there. It's just a fascinating world. It really is. Yeah. And scaling up, of course, across the country, there's got to be great systems and processes in place to make that happen well. So that's really cool to hear. So in terms of warehousing, what are some of the key trends that you're seeing in the marketplace in recent years?
Yeah, and you know, your customers are shippers that may operate warehouses, or they may just work with them. But I think if you're in a facility today, you know, the first is your complexity is growing drastically, right? Mm-hmm. You're in a co-opetition with Amazon. You're trying to play with them and also compete with them. You've got consumers that have higher demands on you than ever, which is requiring you to do what's called omni-channel delivery, right? Yeah. I got to deliver. I used to just run a facility and deliver to grocery, but now I got to deliver to customers. I got to deliver to my online people. I got to do all kinds of things. And what that's done is it said, okay, I used to manage pallets in a facility. Now I have to also manage piece picking.
Right.
So almost every facility in America has gotten more complex over time. Challenges, though, they may not have had the systems to do it or the processes to do it. It just happened, just like the pandemic just happened.
Right.
I mean, the second piece of this is what everybody's deeming a labor shortage, right? I would actually say it's a little bit different. We actually have a labor movement, right? We used to go shop at retail stores, and we had lots of service people, retail leaders in those businesses at those stores. Well, that group of people, they just didn't migrate over to warehouses because that's where that's happening now. It's happening in a warehouse, not a retail store. So we have this challenge of ramping up the staff in those. And so that created the third trend. Complexity plus labor shortage has created this opportunity to automate, right? And so we got this massive automation robotics thing happening in warehouses. And so we're trying to automate the mundane, the thing that happens over and over and over again. We're trying to upskill our people and give them better things to do, cooler things to do, let them learn new technologies, and also deal with the complexity and also be able to compete with folks like Amazon.
Right, absolutely. It's been fascinating across those 20 years or so that I've been involved to see the technology advances and the automation advances. It's incredible, really. and it is fun. I love working with tech, so I enjoy seeing these things happen. In terms of success, what are 2 or 3 key things that executives in the shipping arena should know?
I think the first is help in the fight with complexity. It's not just the retailers and distribution, the facilities that are complex. The whole world's getting more complex. We've seen that with supply chain disruption. And the way you deal with complexity is you get better at your core competency, right? You look at your corporate strategy and say, I can't be all things to all people. I have to know which customer I create the most value for and get focused on building out that core competency. XPO did this when they divested of GXO, right? They split those businesses in 2. I know it was a big shareholder event, but it also helps both those businesses get focused on their end customers and build for those unique customers. Cold storage distribution would be another similar place. A second thing is you've got this opportunity to embrace clean technology. Over 65% of forklifts today are electric, yet less than 1% of trucks on the road probably are, right? A couple percentage. I would say be careful of just taking the newest thing. I would look for clean tech that's scalable, but get on that path, build a more sustainable future for our people, but do it profitably, right? Do it so it drives to your bottom line. Think about it from a sustainability standpoint, both for your bottom line and for our environment. And then finally, if you're in the warehouse distribution 3PL space, one thing that's a big challenge for you is you've got too many pieces of equipment and types of equipment, dock stores, forklifts, power, et cetera. And you've got so many vendors nationally across all your facilities. You've got to reduce complexity there. Get focused on your core, find vendors that can take more of those asset classes for you and manage it for you and do it better than you can do it internally.
Absolutely. Green tech and cleaner environment is not going anywhere. And I've loved being involved in projects that reduce emissions, reduce fuel, reduce waste, but it also helps the bottom line. If you do it right, it absolutely does. So yeah, it's something that is growing tremendously. Clean tech, green tech, whatever. So great advice there for sure. And what are the best ways for people to connect with you, Ryan?
So you can reach me on my LinkedIn. That's an easy place to reach me, Ryan Lynch with OnPoint. The other is you can reach me at my email, ryan.lynch@onpointgroup.com.
Excellent. And what would you say? I ask all my guests this question. What would you say as a final word of advice for our friends out there listening or watching today?
Yeah. So early in my career, I was really ambitious, and I got really focused on the doing aspect of my job. As I've gotten older, I've realized, wow, I spent a lot of time at work with these people. I think, something to think about is do you care more about what you want to achieve at work, or do you care more about how you make people feel? Mm-hmm. How they remember you and the way you interacted with them, and how they when they leave interactions with you feel. Most of us struggle to be the same person at work that we are at home. And I would say if you want to change from being just achievement oriented to also a people oriented, spend time every morning thinking about that. Think about what you're grateful for. Think about what you want your legacy to be at work, and change a little each day.
Fantastic advice. I think, there's this saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. And I totally believe that. And I've tried to focus on how to help other people be successful, basically. And I think if everybody's working towards that, you're in a good place, basically. So I love that advice. Thanks you again for coming on with me today, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
Andy, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
You bet. That's going to do it for this edition of the Trucking Tower Podcast. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.